it's Lindsay here, the Frugal Crafter. And you know how I rarely ever redo a video? This is take 2 because the first take was so bad I had to redo it. And I didn't even get through it. So what we're going to do today is a little quilling, and we're going to make these really cute shamrocks that you can either put a magnet on the back or put ribbon on to make a brooch like I did here, or a hair bow like I did in this one. And I glittered this one, so there's some options that you can do there, and it's a lot of fun, and it introduces kids to the art of quilling, or you know what, grown-ups can do it too. I plan on teaching this to a group of children tomorrow night, so I thought I would share it with you while I had all my supplies out. So the first thing you need is some quilling strips. Now I don't buy packets of quilling strips anymore because they tangle and I swear they mate when they're in my my craft room, and they just multiply, and then I have a big snarl and I don't have anything I can do with it. So what I've done here is I have cut some regular colored copy paper. This is a 24-pound regular colored copy paper. And you know, so I have 1/8 of an inch by 11-inch strips. So you're gonna need 5 for this project. I've done a little prep here, so I don't need to go through. And what I love is about this cheap little paper shredder, I love the little warning sign, the don't put your necktie in it, don't put a paper clip, don't put your hand in there, and don't put your hair in there. It's sad that they need to put that on there, but I thought that was hilarious. I should also mention it's very late, and I'm finding everything very hilarious at the moment. Alright, so what we're going to do is take one of these strips, either using a toothpick or a little slotted quilling tool. I just want to swat at it. It's a swatted quilling tool. You just want to twirl up this piece of paper, and it goes very quickly. You're going to need to do this particular one 4 times. Yes, 4 I can count. So, and then you just kind of release it a little bit, so you have a coil that's, I would say, about 1/2 inch wide, not too big. And you're going to need some glue. I've got my Mod Podge here, but any white glue is going to be fine for this. This is just what I always have next to my desk, so it works good. And just a tiny little bit of glue. You don't want too much because you want it to dry really quickly. Let me zoom in a little bit more because I haven't made you seasick enough with my camera action tonight. I'm going to squeeze this, first squeeze it until like a teardrop shape, okay? And then with your fingernail, if you have them, you just kind of shove your fingernail into the end there, and you end up with this little heart. So you need to make 4 of these, okay? And then set them aside to dry. I've got 3 other made because I'm so on the ball tonight. And then we need to make our stem. And you'll need about 4 inches of strip of paper, and I like to tear because I get a much better, when you glue down a torn edge, it kind of disappears, as opposed to gluing down a cut edge, which you can kind of see that seam. So I'm going to twirl it up just like before. I find a lot of times kids have an easier time with a toothpick than a slotted tool, which seems crazy because it's so much easier, I think, to put that little strip of paper in between that slot, but kids seem to have an easier time the other way. And you really want to let this one loosen up really well. You like my fingernails, by the way? My daughter Maisie painted them for me. She did a good job. I never bother with it, but of course by tomorrow at about, you know, noon, they'll be completely worn off. Alright, so now I have this really loose coil. I'm going to glue it down. Again, using my, use a like a toothpick or something to put your glue on. Don't just squeeze it from your bottle because you will end up with with too much glue. And then just kind of squash it. Okay, so you have this really long oval, and then again with your fingernail, just kind of push in on each end, and that will give you a little bit wider of a stem, and you kind of want that for stability when you glue this down. This could be also a card embellishment. You know, it can decorate jewelry. It's surprising how durable these little quilled creations are. It's really quite cool when you think about it. Okay. The funny things you think about. There we go. Alright, so then I want something to back this on. Sometimes when I'm doing quilling, I'll have like a piece of wax paper on a piece of foam core, and I'll glue the stuff on there and then glue it all together so I can use it on whatever. But I know I want to have the cool kind of background, so I'm going to use one of these tea bag folding papers, which is basically a very thin kind of origami paper. It's too thin to punch properly, so I just traced a 1-inch circle and cut it out. And I did that off camera, so you wouldn't have to be bored watching it. And now we are going to put it together. And first let me arrange it and figure out how I want these to look the best together. And then I will glue it down once I've determined that. Hopefully my stem's not too long. That stem is a little long, but I think I can get it on there. So that's how I'm gonna glue it down. And then I will kind of remove these one at a time and glue them together. Hopefully in a somewhat entertaining fashion. So you want glue on the edges because you have to glue them. You want to glue them to the side, to each other. You're gluing each of the quilled pieces together, and then a little glue on the back to glue it to the backing piece. Or I mean, you could just glue the green to the green and then come back later and glue it to the backing piece. But I'm all about time management, so I like to save myself some work. So let's try to figure out what am I going to do for a boy project here. I like this better. Because boys aren't going to want brooches or hair clips, and you know, I do end up with a few boys in my classes. So I thought I'm going to use some magnets. My husband got some rare earth magnets, and man, don't buy magnets at the craft store because these rare earth ones are super strong, and you get like 100 for a couple bucks. And I don't know where he bought it. He got them on Amazon. I'm not sure what the seller was, but that's a heck of a deal. And you go to the craft store, magnets are crazy, you know, and they're just magnets. And these rare earth ones are so small and they're super duper strong. I don't know, I'm gonna have to figure out something to glue them to my bottle caps though, so that they won't, you know, yank out of the bottle caps and stay permanently adhered to somebody's refrigerator because they are crazy strong. Oops, upside down. Tweezers might be helpful to you on this project. And let's glue this little stem down. This one's not turning out as well as my other two, but you know. You could say, yeah, I think I'll make my stem a little skinnier, Lindsay, no offense. None taken. Alright. Okay, and then that's gonna dry, but you know, we can actually put it in our bottle cap. So I've got this lovely assortment of bottle caps, because I have friends that are younger than me without children, and I say, hey, would you send me your bottle caps? I'm telling you, after a weekend, I'll have a bag of bottle caps. There was one here that actually had a shamrock on it. So maybe I can dig that one up. That was pretty cool. Maybe I can't. I should have pulled that out of the bag before I started recording. Yeah, that would have been smart. I could pause it. I might end up if I don't find it, or maybe I'll just use something else. Well, I'll use I'll use this green one. Would be kind of cool. I'll use that. Or the shamrock one when I could see it before. Oh wait, there. No, that's not it. Okay, seriously, if you're still watching me look through a bag of bottle caps, I don't know what to tell you. We're desperately starved for crafty entertainment. Oh well, you know what? This is gonna do. This green one's fine. Alright, so I'm gonna use the other end of my tool here. That's way more glue than I need, but scrape some back in the jar. Spread it around. Love Mod Podge dries clear, so that's nice. And I'm gonna plop this bad boy right in there. Aren't you surprised I didn't use hot glue? Alright, we're going to set that aside to dry. If you want, you know, you can, well, I'm going to show you that. You can seal it, and if you do that, you're going to want to use a paintbrush. And just any of your acrylic paintbrushes is fine for this. And this will give it a little bit of protection. Really should let this glue sit a little bit more probably, but more glue will certainly help the cause, I think. So since it's not set, my pieces are moving around a little bit, I'm not going to worry about that. I'm just going to add a little more glue and keep on keeping on here. This isn't really proper quilling etiquette, but this is fast quilling etiquette, and you know me. I might not do it right, but I'll get it done quick. Which probably isn't the best motto to have, I guess. Alright, so I'm just dabbing this with glue, just so you can see how you might go about glazing this if you like. So you could just let this dry clear, and it will dry clear, but since I have some glitter handy, I'm going to use that. Put your brush with your glue, make sure you put it right away. Let me grab a scrap of paper just so I don't get this all over my workspace. Whoa, my gosh, I'm very klutzy tonight. Alright, so that's going to just sit and glitter, and when it dries, it's going to look like the bottle cap here. Now, this bow was really easy to make, and I know a lot of you guys have a hard time with bows, especially when you want it to be nice and symmetrical and secure, so you can use it on a hair bow. So I'm going to show you my little trick for that. I think that'll be the last thing I show you here, and actually we are at, oh, we're only at 9 minutes. This is going quite well now, I think. Let me put my glitter out of the way before I have a mishap. which is likely to happen when I'm tired. Alright, so what I'm going to do is also put my glue out of the way. So remember that my paper shredder? Since I don't have another box handy, I'm just going to grab that. You can grab a box or a jar or anything that you can put a couple clothespins on. Hopefully my clothespins, my clothespins, these are not my favorite clothespins. I have favorite clothespins and those are not it. Alright, these are pretty good. So I want this to be suitable for the barrette that I have. So I want to make sure that my pins are at least that far apart because I don't want any of the barrette to show. Right, so that's how my pins are. And maybe, you know what, maybe I'll just set that here and just let all that paper fall on the floor. Oh boy, okay, so I got my, where's my ribbon? Here's my ribbon. And I'm going to cut off, I would say, well, let's see, I'm going to cut off, I'm going to say about 15 inches. Okay, and then we'll see if we could have gone with less. But I know that will be plenty, at least. And we may be able to get by with less, but 15 inches will be plenty. And then I'm going to wrap it around. Oh, I think 15 inches is just about going to do it. And then we're going to go under. And on this side, we're going to come over. Wait a minute. No, no, no. I can't. I'm not used to doing it like this. Alright. We're going to wrap this around. And we're going to pull one side under. And we're going to pull one side over. Oh, and I just lost it. This is weird. This is a very weird angle for me. So, I know I've showed you this before in another video, and if I can remember what one that is, I'll point you there. But there, so now we've got this, and I can just tie this really nice and tight. And see, we've got a really nice bow there. You could tie it again. This does tie pretty well. This is 1.5 inch ribbon by Paper Mart. I don't think I need another tie on there because I'll be securing that with glue to my barrette. So I'm just going to slide that off. Move that over there. And so you actually end up with a really lovely bow. And look, that took seconds, even with my screw-ups. That's not too bad. And then I'm just going to notch the ends, and you will need to put a little fray check on this, or burn the ends with a lighter. So obviously that's not a kid's project, but you can do that. And if you burn the ends with a lighter, make sure you just have it in the blue part of the flame, just like we did in the other bow video, because otherwise you will discolor the ribbon. Or just use the fray check and you don't have to worry about that at all. But see, that makes such a perfect little bow, just like that. It's so easy. It's 2 clothespins on a box. I mean, hello people, that's pretty easy. And then when this dries, it's going to look fabulous. And then I would just hot glue that on there. I would hot glue this onto my little clip. Actually, I can show you that because I got my glue gun right here. And of course it's hot and ready to go. I'm just going to put a bead of glue here. Try not to get it on the insides of the clip, or you won't have a barrette. You're going to have a glued shut tight thing. And I have a way with words, especially late at night. And then you can kind of fuss with your bow a little bit, make sure it's going to lay flat there. Actually, that's kind of pretty just the way it is. You don't even need a bottle cap on it. But there you have it. It's just a fun little project. You know, if you're doing this with a boy, you may just glue a little magnet on the back. Or, I don't know, does anybody have any ideas of what else I could do for this for boys? I got this class tomorrow, so if you think of a really cool idea that I can do this little bottle cap, that I can use these little shamrocks for, that would be more of a boy craft, please leave a comment and let me know. I would appreciate it. Give me a thumbs up and subscribe if you like this video so you don't miss any others. And thank you so much for watching. Until next time, happy crafting.